Okay, I'm going to do lesson 27, rational expressions, since we didn't get to this. I do this a little bit differently than the book does, so it would be good if everyone watched this video. Rational expressions. A ratio can be written as a fraction, so anytime there's a ratio you could get like 3/4, something like that. That's called a ratio. It's written as a fraction. Whenever an algebraic ratio is written as a fraction, like these are ratios written as a fraction. They're called rational expressions. Whenever you hear the word rational, just think fraction. These are fractions. When one of the denominators has a factor that's a sum, then this sum is one of the factors of the least common multiple. Okay, we'll get to that. That sounds confusing. So let's get down here. We're going to add. Now, when you have an expression, see, this is an expression. It's not an equation. So when you have an expression, you cannot just get rid of your denominator. If we would have an equal sign, like if we had 1 over x plus 7 over 5 equals 1 over 35 or something like that, we could multiply everything by the common denominator and get rid of our fractions. But these do not have equal signs, so you have to find a common denominator. We talk about this all the time. So here we go. We have to find the common denominator. And what this is saying that sounds really confusing up here, when one of the denominators has a factor that's a sum. Well, this one doesn't have a factor of a sum, but it has a sum in it. See how it's a sum? Then the sum is one of the factors of the least common multiple. So the way you do this is you look at your two rational expressions, or two terms, and you try to find a common denominator. What will this one go into and what will this one go into? And if one of them is a sum, the sum is always one of the factors. So I just do, the book does two separate fractions, I just do one fraction to find the common denominator. So this one needs an x, and this one needs an x plus a. You can't just put x plus a. X does not go into x plus a. This does not divide into that. Remember, you cannot cross these. That's totally illegal what I just did. So this cannot go into this, so you need the x also to be in your common denominator. So you need this and this. You can't just get away with the x plus a. So we say what's missing in this one? Well, it's missing an x plus a. So we're going to have to take the top and bottom by x plus a. This one is missing an x, so we take the top and bottom times an x. I already have the denominator here. So this one, the top would be 4x plus 4a plus 6x. And oddly enough, we can simplify a little bit more, and we get 10x plus 4a over x times x plus a. And that is your final answer. So it feels like we did something like this before. Let's try another one. They're going to get more complicated, of course. Let's zoom over here. Okay, this time, here's our common denominator. We have a sum right here, so it has to be in your common denominator. So we're just finding a common denominator. I just draw a big long line. Our common denominator, we need an x plus 4, and we need an x squared. So we'll put the x squared here. And we say what's missing from this denominator to this denominator. Well, this one is missing x squared. So we're going to have to take the top and bottom by x squared. When I take the bottom by x squared, we just get this. This one is missing everything. So it's going to be x squared times x plus 4. And this one is only missing the x plus 4. So we're just going to distribute what we can. We have x squared times x plus 2, so we're going to get x cubed plus 2x squared. Same, we're going to distribute the 6x squared to both of these. So we get plus 6x squared, x cubed, plus 24x squared. And now we go on to this one. We're going to take this times this and this times this. So we're going to get, that's why I put the parentheses around there, so you remember to distribute. If you don't put the parentheses, your temptation will be just to take the x squared times the first one, or take the 6 times the first, 6x squared times the first one, etc. So this is going to be plus 2x plus 8. And then we just look for any common terms here. So we're going to get an x cubed and a 6x cubed would be 7x cubed. So those, we got that taken care of. And then we go to our x squareds. We have 2x squared and 24x squared, which gives us 26x squared. Like that. And nobody else combined, so we just get 2x plus 8 over our common denominator, which is x squared times x plus 4. And that's your answer for that. Let's do one more problem, if you can bear with me. I know this is really hard watching this for so long. It might be 10 minutes or something out of your lives. Randomly, nobody is home. Noah's the only one home today because everyone is busy at our house. So the key word is Noah's the only one home. So let's look at this one. This one's a little bit more complicated. For this one, before you even begin, you need to factor the denominator. So I'm going to factor this denominator into x plus 3, x plus 1. Remember how we factored this week? Well, you have to factor it before you start finding your common denominator. So then we look at what's common. Well, we need an x plus 3. We need all the sums have to be in it. And we have an x plus 1. We have an x that we need. And we don't need to put another x plus 1 because we already have an x plus 1 in our denominator. It's a little lopsided now. So we look at what's missing. In the top, in the numerator, we're only missing an x. And in the numerator in this one, we're missing an x plus 3. So we can just write x plus 3. And we distribute, so we get x squared plus 2x. Now see this negative sign? That's where a lot of people make a mistake. You don't want to lose this negative sign. Very important negative sign. So we're going to take a negative 1 times this and a negative 1 times the 3. So we're going to get negative x minus 3. And then all we have to do is see if there's anything we can combine. And we have a 2x minus x, so we get x squared plus x minus 3 all over x times x plus 3 times x plus 1. And that is your final answer. Remember, if you don't have an equal sign, you have to find a common denominator. If you have an equal sign, you can get rid of your denominator by multiplying through by your common denominator. Okay, well that's it for lesson 27.